Hey, it's Joe from the Georgina Public Library, and I'm coming today to present a Reading Buddies story. I'm really missing the Reading Buddies, and I really miss reading aloud, so I hope you're going to enjoy this. I didn't have a lot of books here at my house, so I had to dig around, and I found one that we loved reading when my kids were little. It was published in 1985, so this book is 35 years old. It's probably older than some of your mums and dads. It was written by Alan Morgan. He's a Canadian. Illustrated by Michael Martchenko, and I think you might recognize his name from the Robert Munch books. And it was printed by Annick Press. Matthew and the Midnight Turkeys. One morning, Matthew woke up before his mother did. He went into her bedroom to see if she wanted to play. She didn't. It's not even 6 yet, she told him. Go back to bed. Matthew went back into his room, but he didn't feel like sleeping much. He decided to fall out of bed instead. What are you doing in there? Called his mother. I'm falling into a hole, Matthew told her. Could you do it a little more quietly? She asked. So Matthew turned around and fell down, and he fell into holes that way for a while. It made him so dizzy he had to laugh. Be quiet, you turkey, his mother called down the hall. I can't, Matthew called back. Whenever I get dizzy, I tickle myself. I'm hungry. Can I make my own breakfast? I should say not, said his mother. You're much too silly today. So Matthew's mother had to get out of bed and make breakfast herself. Afterwards, Matthew went out into the yard. A dog was digging a hole in the garden, so he chased it away. And he got his shovel, 2 buckets, his best bulldozer, so he could finish the job properly. He worked very hard for a very long time, and when his mother came out to see what he was up to, she was very surprised to see how much he'd done. Matthew, she cried, you've dug a hole in my garden. Yes, I have, said Matthew proudly. Lucky for you, I haven't planted any flowers there yet, said his mother. Now fill up that hole right away. But it's my very best one, said Matthew. Can I keep it for a while? Oh, all right, said his mother. You can dig there today, but tomorrow the hole has to go. Okay? When Matthew came in for lunch, he was very hungry. I'll have 2 peanut butter and banana sandwiches with plenty of honey inside them, he asked his mother. I'm making my hole into a trap, and tonight I'm going to catch the midnight turkeys. Midnight turkeys, said his mother. What are they? They're the turkeys that come out just at midnight, said Matthew. Midnight turkeys are silly, you know. Very, very silly. They're so silly they'll fall right into my trap for sure. Matthew washed his hands and sat down at the table. After lunch, he had to wash them again because of the sandwiches. When Matthew went outside, he decided he might be a good idea to leave some things in the trap so the midnight turkeys would have something to do when they fell in. He brought out his comic books, a deck of cards, a couple of cars, his telephone, and a few of his better bottle tops, and many other things turkeys are very fond of. Then he made some signs with arrows on them so the midnight turkeys would know which way to go. A few of the signs had words on them, and just in case the midnight turkeys could read a little. When everything was ready, Matthew called his mother and showed her his midnight turkey trap. Very nice, she said, but what makes you think they'll come tonight? Oh, they'll come all right, said Matthew. Midnight turkeys always come if you put out a trap for them. I see, said his mother. What are you planning to do with the midnight turkeys when you catch them? Oh, I'll have them for breakfast, Matthew explained. Midnight turkeys make a very good meal, you know. Then Matthew went inside to have his dinner. He took a bath and got into bed. Soon he was fast asleep. But later that night, just after midnight, Matthew woke up. He ran to his window to see if the midnight turkeys were coming. They were. They were walking right down the middle of the street, and they certainly were silly, all right. They were tickling each other and giggling together, and one of the sillier ones was even tickling himself, which is quite hard to do. Then the midnight turkeys took off their shoes and threw them away. They took off their socks and they tied them in knots. They laughed and giggled and wiggled their bums. They pushed out their bellies and bumped into each other whenever they could. And when they did, they said, "Excuse me," and fell down. Then all the midnight turkeys stood under the streetlight together and sang a sentimental song about underwear. "I have lost my underwear, I don't care, I'll go bare. Bye, bye, Long Johns. They were very good to me, tickled me. Bye, bye, Long Johns." Don't ask me how I know that, because some things you just know. Anyway, after a while, the midnight turkeys noticed the signs that Matthew had made, and they got excited. The ones that could read them read what they said, and the ones that couldn't, they ate them instead, just in case they tasted like something. In no time at all, the midnight turkeys were following the arrows, and they found Matthew's trap. No problem. They all lined up and waited their turn to fall into the hole. And it wasn't very long before every single one of them was caught. Matthew went outside to see if his trap was working the way it was supposed to. It was. The midnight turkeys had settled right in, and they were having a wonderful time. "Hey, you turkeys," Matthew yelled. "How do you like it?" "Oh, we love it," they answered. "It's the best trap we've been caught in for years. Come on, come in. There's plenty of room." So Matthew jumped down into the hole, and the midnight turkeys tickled him for a while, just to make him feel at home. Matthew laughed so much it made him feel hungry. Midnight turkeys were hungry too, so they phoned out for pizza. The delivery man came by right away with their order. 10 super large jumbos with anything on them," he called as he dropped the pizzas down into the hole. "Hey, let's play cards while we eat," said Matthew. "Let's play Crazy Eight," yelled the midnight turkey. "Crazy Eights and Crazy Nines," shouted another. "Crazy Tens and Aces too," cried a third. Why don't we have crazy everything," said Matthew. So all that night they ate pizza and played cards. When they got tired of that, they ate the cards and played with the pizza. They sang some turkey songs together until the night was almost over and the sun was coming up. "Come on inside," said Matthew. "It's time to eat again." Everyone agreed, so Matthew brought the midnight turkeys into the kitchen and had them for breakfast. The midnight turkeys made the meal. "We're going to make cereal sandwiches," they said. The midnight turkeys got out the bread and they spread a lot of jam around. The jam is to keep the cereal from falling out. And they were absolutely right, because when they poured on the cereal, some of it stuck. "I like bananas on my cereal sometimes," said Matthew. "No problem," said the midnight turkeys, and they rolled some bananas out flat with a rolling pin and stuck them into the sandwich. Then the midnight turkeys poured some orange juice into a bowl. They added some tomato juice until the color was just right. Next, they put in some ginger ale, some grape juice, some cola, and then, just to make sure it was sweet enough, they dumped in a tin of chocolate syrup and stirred it up. "The juice of many flavors is good for you," they explained. "It's full of vitamins and other stuff." After a while, the midnight turkeys had to go, so Matthew said goodnight. He curled up in his chair, and soon he was fast asleep. Later that morning, round about 8, Matthew's mother woke up. It was very quiet. There was no one bouncing on her bed. "Matthew," she said. "Matthew, where are you?" Matthew didn't answer, so his mother had to get up out of bed and go looking for him. When she finally found him asleep in the kitchen, she was very surprised to see that breakfast was ready. "Good heavens!" she cried. "What happened?" Matthew woke up. He looked at his mother and he smiled. "The midnight turkeys got in my trap, caught in my trap, just like I said they would. I jumped in too. We had lots of fun, so afterwards I had them for breakfast. The midnight turkeys made a very good meal." I saved you some. Matthew's mother took a long look around. She saw there were lots of leftovers, and she noticed there were a fair number of left-unders too. And she sighed and sat down. I don't need any breakfast right now, she said. What I need is a cup of coffee. And that, my friends, is Matthew and the Midnight Turkeys. Now, think of all the possibilities that you could do based on this story. With adult permission, you can go out and dig yourself a midnight turkey trap. You can tell the adults you're just getting some exercise and getting the garden bed ready for some flowers. Maybe a cereal sandwich might be good once in a while. The juice of many flavors, I don't suggest it. It's not all that appealing. Anyway, have fun with the story. Look forward to seeing you next week when we will have some of our big buddies, the teens, reading stories as well. Take care. Have a good week.